Okay, what's your name, your age, and your relationship to me?
My name is Joseph Rocha, and I'm 60 years old, and I'm your grandfather.
Okay. What do you know or remember about November 22nd, 1963, when John F. Kennedy was assassinated?
The world was devastated. He was the most beloved president ever. He was like a god almost. People believed in him so much, and when he died, the whole world felt like they died.
Many people have said Hope in America died a little that day. Do you agree? And if so, how did Hope in America change that day?
It did die a little bit that day. Everybody was devastated by the assassination, so it took years and years for them to get over it. It affected the whole world.
Okay. What you know or remember about the Vietnam War? Many people have said Americans lost trust in federal government by the end of the war. Do you agree? And if so, has this trust ever been won back by the federal government?
I don't believe we lost trust in the government. I think it was a war that happens. Sometimes they happen and they're not always necessary, but it was just a part of life. I don't feel we lost trust.
Okay. What do you know or remember about July 20th, 1969, when the U.S. was able to land the first men to the moon? Many people have said the world's perception of the U.S. changed that day. Do you agree? And if so, how did the world perceive the U.S. after this event?
Probably one of the greatest events in my lifetime. So I think the world was just astonished, and America was thought of as the greatest thing since sliced bread. It was a great thing.
What do you know or remember about August 8th, 1974, following the Watergate scandal? Once again, many people said the American public lost trust in federal government. Watergate or Vietnam, do you feel hurt the trust Americans felt towards the federal government more, and why?
Yeah, the Watergate scandal was Richard Nixon was the president, and I think the American public did lose some confidence in the government, but I think it kind of revealed that not everybody is as truthful as you think they are. So that's how I think it affected my view of it.
What do you know or remember about November 9th, 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down, effectively ending the Cold War? Many people have said life in America changed that day. Do you agree? And if so, how did life change the day the Berlin Wall came down, ending the Cold War?
I think it was another monumental day. To me, it wasn't as huge as it was, I think, to foreign countries, but to me, it was still a major thing.
Okay. What do you know or remember about September 11th, 2001, when the country experienced the worst terrorist attacks in the U.S. history? How has America changed in the past decade by this horrific event?
Security, security, security. We realized that we're vulnerable. And so since then, we just opened our eyes that we can be attacked, even almost from within if we're not careful. So we just increased our security, and I think even though it was devastating, it helped us in another way.
Okay, and last question. Finally, it is said that every American has a dream, be it wealth, happiness, a better life for their children, etc. What was your dream, and do you think you achieved it?
Well, as a child, I never had a dream, but my dream now that I'm older is already being realized by my children and grandchildren. That's my biggest dream.